Hello everyone and welcome to another way you shouldn't play Pokemon. As promised, I'm going to solo Pokemon Blue as fast as I can, only using its mascot Blastoise. We had the fastest starter last time. Now, we're taking the slowest. But on the upside, we went from the frailest starter to the bulkiest. On the physical side anyway. We'll get to the one on the special side next time. And while Blastoise's move pool isn't as wide as Charizard's, it can still learn a decent range of moves. I'm not going to waste too much time on the intro, but just in case this is your first time here, I'll quickly run down the rules. I won't use any items in battle. Blastoise is the only Pokemon allowed to battle. Any other Pokemon you might see in my party are for HM purposes, and I'm not going to use any game glitches or cheating devices. The only cheating I'm going to do is to modify my starter from a Squirtle to a Blastoise. Now, without further ado, post your predictions on how fast I'll get this done in the comments below. And a little self-plug, if you want to see how fast Charizard is able to do this, you can check that out here. Now let's begin. Once we've gotten our starter, we have our first battle against our rival. Since this is meant to be practice for new players, and I'm using a fully evolved Pokemon to my opponent's baby, this was an easy win. However, it does take more attacks for our Blastoise to take out his Bulbasaur than it did for our Charizard against the Squirtle. We're off to a slower start, and I can't make up for that time in Viridian Forest, or I have to drown the bugs in water instead of burning them. It's a good thing I only have to battle one trainer before I face Brock. Much to my surprise, Blastoise cannot one-shot Geodude, despite being quad weak and having a pretty bad special defense stat. Yeah, we're almost half its level, but I'm also a fully evolved Pokemon, unable to knock out a stage 1, who's quad weak to the move I'm using. But I do grow 2 levels after knocking it out, and I didn't have much hope in one-shotting Onix. But I wind up critting it, which was enough for the one-hit KO, and win my first badge. I then grabbed that useless TM I always wind up selling. I did make up for lost time here, getting my first badge in 10 minutes. That time I made up quickly goes away against the trainers on Route 4, and we're not going to have a type advantage against a gym leader until we're in the last third of the run. It doesn't help the moves I currently know aren't the best, but that won't be the situation for much longer. I grabbed the TM from Mega Punch and Mount Moon, beat the one Rocket Grunt we're forced to battle, and this nerd so I can get the fossil. Once I make it to Cerulean, I have yet another battle against my rival. Mega Punch should make quick work of his team, but I have to worry about Sand Attack from Pidgeotto. Mega Punch doesn't have the best accuracy to begin with, and having sand in my eye isn't going to help with that. The first 2 punches land, but then we proceed to miss our next 2 attacks. Third time is the charm, and we were only hit with Sand Attack once. Mega Punch is an easy one-shot on Abra. Rattata dodges our first punch and lowers our defense with Tail Whip. Our second punch lands, crit one-shotting it. Bulbasaur lives its punch with a third of its health remaining. Bulbasaur seeds us in retaliation, and we miss our next 2 attacks. One turn, Bulbasaur wasted because it went for Leech Seed again, which did nothing, and on the second turn, it lowers our attack with Growl. Once again though, third time is the charm as Mega Punch crits, taking out Bulbasaur. We're gonna put off Misty for a bit and go up to meet Bill. This will give me the chance to grow a few levels and grab some TMs that will give me an advantage. Once I beat in the Nugget 5, I grab the SS Ann ticket and rush down to Vermilion. I speak to the Pokemon fan and grab the bike voucher, and then board the SS Ann where I get the TM for Body Slam. After battling this poor sap of course. With my new move, I can easily sweep my rival's team and grab the Cut HM. But before I can use Cut, I have to defeat Misty. A single crit Body Slam takes out Staryu. Starmie takes 3 attacks to finish off, and doesn't know any attacks to counter us. The last Body Slam does crit, and I curse this game for giving me crits when I don't need them. But I do get the TM for Bubble Beam, which will be my go-to water attack for the next little while. Current playtime, 51 minutes. I grab the bike from the shop and zoom past Rock Tunnel. I made good time here thanks to trainers mainly having Rock-type Pokemon. Once I'm out, I rush towards Celadon and enter the game corner. Erika is the next gym leader, and we're going to be at a tight disadvantage. These poor rocket grunts are going to help me raise my level a bit. After taking out a few grunts, I come into contact with Giovanni. Both his Onix and Rhyhorn fall to a single Bubble Beam, Kangaskhan takes the body slam really well, as Giovanni gives it a guard spec. I use Bubble Beam my next turn, which nearly takes it out. It counters with Rage, which isn't a very good move. One more attack takes Kangaskhan out, and I grab the Silph Scope from the fleeing Giovanni. Before taking care of the crisis in Lavender, I'm going to challenge Erika. To prepare, I head to the roof of the Celadon Mall and buy a couple of waters. I give one to this child, who thanks me by giving me the TM for Ice Beam. Now we're ready for Erika. Hopefully. Ice Beam does a little over half to Victory Bell, but Razor Leaf deals about 2/3 to us. One more grass type attack, and we're done. A second Ice Beam finishes off Victory Bell. Another Ice Beam one-shots Tangela, and thanks to a crit, it also one-shots Vileplume. Playtime, 1 hour, 22 minutes. After giving the guards a drink so I can cut through Celadon, I head back to Lavender Town, enter Pokemon Tower, and fight my rival. Ice Beam makes quick work of Pidgeotto. A couple body slams takes out Gyarados, Growlithe is one-shot by Bubble Beam, Kadabra is taken out by a Body Slam, and Ice Beam knocks out Ivysaur, giving us the easy win. I top Blastoise Dig for this section of the game. Thanks to their poison typing, the Ghastly line are all weak to ground type attacks. My next destination is Saffron, where I have more Rocket Grunts to beat up. I first go to floor 5 so I can get the card key. I then head to floor 10 and grab the TM for Earthquake, which I immediately switch out Dig for. Blastoise cannot learn Sword Stance, so I'm going for a diverse and strong moveset as possible. With Earthquake in my arsenal, it's time to once again face my rival. And once again, he leads with his bird Pokemon, Pidgeot. As long as it doesn't use Sand Attack, I should be fine. Luckily for me, it doesn't. After living an Ice Beam, it answers back with a Wing Attack Quick Attack combo before falling to a second attack. Gyarados is the bulkiest member of his team, needing 4 Body Slams to take out. It also knows Dragon Rage, and since it's going to take 3 turns to take out, assuming no crits, I need to pray it doesn't spam Dragon Rage. Otherwise, I'm losing 120 HP. And on this attempt, it doesn't go for it too often. Growlithe falls easy enough to a single Bubble Beam, and an Earthquake makes quick work of Alakazam. That just leaves Venusaur. Ice Beam deals a little over half. In response, Venusaur uses Leech Seed. Thank Arceus it did not use Razor Leaf. Otherwise, talking from previous experience, that would have one-shot me. A second Ice Beam gets the job done, winning us the bout. We still have one last thing to do. Beat Giovanni, which was a walk in the park. Nidorino fell to an Earthquake. It did take 3 Body Slams to knock out Kangaskhan. Luckily for me though, it only used Rage. Bubble Beam drowns Rhyhorn, and a pair of Ice Beams takes out Nidoqueen. Buckle up folks, because we're heading for the Kanto Gym Lightning Round! Starting us off is Sabrina. Body Slam easily wipes Kadabra. Mr. Mime manages to take her first attack and uses Barrier to raise his defense, which was all in vain as the second attack finishes it off. In the surprising twist of the bout, Venomoth, the only Pokemon on Sabrina's team that isn't a Psychic, lives a super effective Earthquake. And we get paralyzed courtesy of Spore. One more attack does take it out, but we still have to deal with Alakazam. It uses Recover to start, despite it being at full health, giving us a chance to take it out with Earthquake. But it just hangs on. On my next turn, we get hit with Psywave that nearly takes us out, and we lose a turn to Paralysis. Next turn, Alakazam uses Reflect to raise his defense. We get past the Paralysis, and this time, finish it off with one more Earthquake, grabbing Badge 4. Time, 1 hour, 49 minutes. After a blast through Cycling Road, we make it to Fuchsia and fight Koga. This was an easy sweep thanks to Earthquake. It's a good thing this is pre-ability era, otherwise 3 of his Pokemon would have the Levitate ability, making them immune to ground-type attacks. I wonder how smoothly this would have gone in the remakes. Questions for another video. Before heading to the next gym, I need to make my way to the Safari Zone and grab the HM for Surf. I also need the Warden's Teeth so I can get the HM for Strength. I T-Surf the Blastoise, and its moveset has reached its final form. After that detour, it's time for Lieutenant Surge. After spending more time than I would have liked on this puzzle. But like Koga, his team is swept thanks to Earthquake. After a quick trip to the Pokemon Mansion, I challenged Blaine on Cinnabar Island. His first 3 Pokemon fall in one attack thanks to Surf. I could teach Blastoise Hydro Pump, but I'd take the slight hit in power if it means I get a more accurate move with more PP. But that does mean Arcanine lives our attack. Barely. It uses Roar and Vein, and falls to 1 more Surf. I track back to Viridian to challenge for my last badge. My opponent? Giovanni. His whole team all drowned in one big pool of water, courtesy of Surf. Current time, 2 hours, 25 minutes. Yep. Got my last 5 badges in just over 35 minutes. Before heading to the Elite, I need to battle my rival once more. This battle plays out almost exactly the same as last time. Ice Beam 2-shots Pidgeot, Surf wipes Rhyhorn, Gyarados takes the most amount of hits, you need 3 Body Slams to take it out, Surf easily washes Growlithe away, Body Slam is a 2-hit KO on Alakazam, we get a near-death experience with Venusaur thanks to Vine Whip, again, glad I didn't use Razor Leaf, it falls to 2 Ice Beams. I pump as many vitamins, minerals, and candy as I could find and afford, and head into the Indigo Plateau. We only have 5 battles left, and less than 25 minutes to go before we hit the 3-hour mark. Can we get them done under 3? Let's see. Hi Lorelei, good to see you again. It's a good thing I like you because we're gonna be seeing a lot of each other. Lorelei doesn't have anything that can hit us super hard, and we're fairly bulky. But the same applies on our end against Lorelei. Everything I know will be a multi-hit KO. While Blastoise isn't the worst water type of Generation 1, it's also nowhere near top tier. Outclassed by Starmie, Tentacruel, and Lapras to name a few. Dugong can lower our attack with Growl, and recover damage with Rest. Luckily for me, Pokemon can't attack on the turn they wake up on in Generation 1. An Earthquake is a 3-hit KO on it. And since Rest lasts for 2 turns, we can knock it out on its last immobile turn. Cloyster doesn't have a direct answer for us. At worst, it can crit us with Spike Cannon, and if Spike Cannon hits for 5 turns, that will deal close to half our health. Oh, and also knows Supersonic. Confusion isn't good either, but that's worst case scenario. On our side, we have a 1 in 3 chance of paralyzing it with Body Slam. We can't take it out, but it does take quite a few turns. Slowbro's only attacking move is Water Gun, which on paper is great, but in reality, the rest of its moves are a nightmare. It can raise its special with Amnesia, raise its defense with Withdraw, and lower our attack with Growl. Blastoise isn't a hard hitter to begin with, and having our attack lowered against our last few Pokemon definitely isn't ideal. If it boosts its stats while lowering our attack, all of our attacks will just bounce off it without a crit. Or we'll just run out PP for Earthquake and Body Slam. My strategy for all of our Pokemon was to use Body Slam until they get paralyzed, and then try and get the job done with Earthquake. I'll definitely need a Body Slam and Earthquake combo for her last 2 Pokemon. Surf is neutral against Jinx, but with its high special stat, I'm better off using the aforementioned moves, which are 2-hit KO on Jinx without a crit. But then her last Pokemon is one of the best water types in the game, Lapras. And by this point, I'm usually running out of PP, and my health is down to about half. It's pure luck getting past Lapras at this point. I need Body Slam to paralyze it, I need Lapras to lose some turns to paralysis, I need to hope Lapras' Body Slam doesn't paralyze me, hope I don't lose turns if that happens, hope it doesn't go for a Confused Ray, and we don't hit ourselves if we do get confused. It was her Lapras that gave me the most problems by far, causing countless wipes and failed runs. After many attempts, however, I eventually get the run I need, the one you're seeing on screen right now, to take out Lapras and get the W. Barely. I won this bout with only 7 HP remaining. Lorelei by far was the hardest battle in the game. Now let's get to one of the easiest. Bruno. Some things never change. Blastoise easily sweeps his team with Surf. Agatha doesn't fare much better. Earthquake takes care of her Ghost and Arbok, and Ice Beam takes out Golbat. That leads us to the final member of the Elite Four, Lance. Gyarados goes down after a few Body Slams, but not before getting our health super low thanks to Hyper Beam. Ice Beam one-shots both his Dragonairs. Aerodactyl is faster than us, and goes for Bite. We hang on with just 13 HP remaining, and one-shot Aerodactyl with Surf. Thankfully, we do outspeed Dragonite and crit one-shot it with Ice Beam. That brings us to the final battle in this run. Of course, that being our rival. Pidgeot manages to live the first Ice Beam and goes for Whirlwind, which is useless in this battle as I only have one Pokemon. A second Ice Beam finishes it off. Alakazam outspeeds us and uses Recover, despite it being at full health. Earthquake crit one-shots it. Surf easily one-shots Rhydon. Gyarados takes a Body Slam fairly well and goes for Hyper Beam. Thank Arceus that missed. A second Body Slam brings it to the red, and Gyarados attacks back with Dragon Rage, which is much better in comparison to Hyper Beam. One more Body Slam finishes the job. Arcanine just manages to take Surf and uses Leer on us. No big deal as his last Pokemon Venusaur doesn't know any physical moves. After one more attack, we finish off Arcanine and Venusaur comes out, his last Pokemon. Venusaur takes an Ice Beam with about half its health remaining. It then uses Giga Drain to do some decent damage to us. Plus it recovers some of its health back. Thanks to that, it just manages to live our second Ice Beam. It's in the red, and my rival decides now is a good time for a full restore, bring it back up to full health. Like before, Ice Beam brings it back down to half. This time, Venusaur goes for Solar Beam, a 2-turn charging move. If our next attack doesn't take it out, that's the game. Ice Beam manages to get the job done, and Venusaur is down. You know what that means? I just beat Pokemon Blue, only using a Blastoise in battle. Final time, 2 hours, 52 minutes. Just slightly behind Charizard. I believe that's due to its lack of power in comparison to Charizard, which is why it fell ever so slightly behind. Battles went a lot faster with Charizard, especially after it learned Sword Stance. However, with that said, I had a much easier time beating this game with Blastoise. Chalk that up to an easier early game, and be able to learn some strong moves fairly early on. If you force a gun to my head and demand me to choose one of these runs to do again, I pick Blastoise. No gun required. The only major problem I had was with Lorelei. If you try this yourself, I recommend force feeding Blastoise as much protein as it can stomach to raise its attack to the max. And looking at the sprite, I think it can stomach a lot. Anyway, we're heading back to Pokemon Red, because I cannot read Japanese so I'm not playing green, to see how fast the Grass Star Venusaur can beat the game. Subscribe to be the first to get notified when that video comes out, and if you enjoyed this one, hit that like button, it really helps me out. For now, it's time to put the Game Boy down. My name is Jeffrey Yuri, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.